Hi guys, this is Nay again. Today I want to talk about how I got an internship at CERN back in 2023. I was gonna make this video later on, but I do have some people asking me about the internship and how I got in, and so I want to make a video about how the process and everything was at my time. So, what's CERN? CERN is known for a European organization for nuclear research, but it's also known as the largest physics lab in the entire world, and it's located in Geneva, Switzerland, and it's on the border of Geneva and Switzerland and France. So fast forward, I want to tell you guys how I got my internship at CERN back in 2023, and then the whole process of how I got selected, and what are the process. I know it's been a while and I was kind of caught up with my schoolwork and everything, but now I want to make a video about my experience, so follow along. So I got selected as the Open Lab summer student back in 2023, and then I worked in a data science division under the Beam department. So how it works is like they have like different departments, and under different departments there's like a different sessions with your manager and with your little group. So I worked in a data science Beam sections with my my mentor and my managers and everyone in that little section. So fast forward back in 2023, well, a little bit prior, before 2023, I was working at SLAT with my mentor from a vacuum lab, and she was really a good mentor of mine. And I think it was around at the end of the year of 2022, she suggested that I apply to a CERN internship. If I'm being honest, I didn't even know what CERN was at that time, but however, she told me, she said there's a program at CERN and I should apply for it. So I was excited because it was in Switzerland and I've never been to that country, and I really wanted to go there, and it's going to be a new experience. So I got really excited. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll apply for it. And I applied for it at that time. And I remember I submitted my application like very last minute. So first thing first, let's go through the application process. So I just pulled up on CERN website, and by the way, they changed their UI UX on the website. It looks pretty good and pretty like up to date. But anyhow, so CERN accept 2 different programs for each summer, and one is called a summer student programs and the other one is called a Open Lab summer student program. Both are pretty good, but if you apply to a summer student program, then you're like most likely to get selected because they do accept like a lot of the students for summer students programs. I believe they accept by hundreds, like hundreds and hundreds. I don't exactly know the number, but I remember it was a lot of students that got accepted to summer student. However, the Open Lab is a little bit selective, so they only accept around 30 students for the Open Lab programs, and then you get replacement on like pretty advanced projects compared to the summer student programs. So whichever applications that you prefer, you could apply, and you could even apply to both of them. It's your preference. And for the application process, it's pretty simple. So in order to apply, you can either be a member state or a non-member state, which is fine. It doesn't matter, like you can just apply for it. At the time I'm from California, so I'm from a non-member state, which is totally fine. Like there's no problem with the visa situation or anything. It was like nothing to worry about, at least for me. But I think even for other students too, it's still fine. Like as long as you have your passport and you have your citizenship from any country wherever you are, and and then you're good to go. So there's not much of eligibilities, and the only eligibility that they require is that you have to complete at least 6 semester at school, which is you have to be in your 3rd year, which is like your junior, and then you can apply for it. And yeah, you just speak English and then you're good to go. There are not much of requirements. And for the application process, they do ask a bunch of essays that you need to answer. And And for the application process, they do ask, I believe it was 4 essays and some other questions based on your technical level skills. I think it was, at that time for me at least, it was like, what is your motivation to apply for this job? And the other one is like, please elaborate briefly your experience of the chosen domains. Notes you can also develop further in your CV and or motivation letter, which is a CV cover letter. We also recommend you to include the specific skills. It's like, what do you know? Like, what can you work on? And they also ask, please give details of any interest and ideally experience in specific topics such as data acquisitions, triggers, detector building, stimulation, machine learning, quantum technologies, or CERN experiments. And the other questions are just like which programming language and operating systems are you familiar with? I put like usual stuff like Python, SQL, Java, all that stuff. And the last question is, what is your level of expertise on those databases? You attend lessons on them. It's just like the database that they use, and they ask if I have any experience with it, which I don't have any experience, so I just list out the experience that I have, which is totally fine. So you just write some your experience into an essays, like, and then you just talked about like what what you're good at, what you're not good at, like what are you planning, what are your futures, like what do you want to accomplish, like when you're at CERN, like that type of thing. I will make a different videos about these essays later on, but today I want to focus more on like the process of how I got there and the experience in Switzerland and like just everything in general. So first thing first, the base pay. Let's talk about the pay and the travel expenses, because for me, I was at the time I was in California and I was going to school. I went to UCSD. I graduated from UCSD this year, but so yeah, I was in California at the time, and then they at that time they pay 90 francs per day, which is 90 CHF, which is a Switzerland money. And when you convert it, it's around like $100, I think. But like right now, if you were to apply right now, they do pay 93 CHF, which is like, if you convert it to US dollar, it's around like 117. So around 100, let's just call it around 100, like 100. And yeah, that's how much they pay for each day. And the good thing about it is they pay every day. So they do pay even Saturday and Sunday as well, because it's considered as a stipend for your stay. So even though you're not working, I guess you're also getting paid per week. So I think for per week you will received around for each day is 117. So for 1 week you will get around like 800, I guess. Yeah, 800, like do your math, but you'll get around 800. And then for the total you get around at the time for me, I think I got around like 7K, I think, but that was like 2.5 months. Let's talk about deadlines. So the application requires you to submit your applications by 26th of January for this year, specifically 26th of January 2026 at 12 at Geneva time. And at the time for me, I pulled up my email, and I applied on January 28th, but I guess it was a little bit more for me at the time. And then I got a congratulation, like selected email on March 22nd. So the wait was around 3 months, which is pretty reasonable, because they take a while to read through all the application, and I believe like they do received a lot of applications, and it took around 2 to 3 months to let you know that you either get selected or you don't. So let's talk about the fun part, going to Switzerland. So at the time, in my knowledge, I knew they were paying 90 CHF per day, but I didn't know if they were going to cover my flight ticket or not, because from California to Geneva is like around like 1,300 at that time. And then I had a lot of like email exchange with the program manager asking for like, are you guys gonna pay me for the flight tickets, or what's the deal and everything. But they did end up paying for the flight tickets extra just because I live like really far. And I believe at that time they pay around 1,600 for me to like use all my flight ticket. And as at the time I was able to find a flight that was 1,300, which is pretty good. And then I saved up like $300 in my pocket, so which was fine. But the only thing with CERN is like they don't pay like very they do pay pretty good, but it's just not like just to mind that like it's not very competitive. So plus you're gonna be living in Switzerland, and you're gonna be all alone, and you're gonna be like paying for your hostel too. I will get into that as well. And you'll have to pay for your food as well. But the budgeting, if you do like a proper budgeting, it's not that bad, because for me at least I ended up like bringing some extra money to the States, because I was going back to school, and I want to have some money for myself. So I was really on a tight budget when I was there. But that doesn't mean I got to travel everywhere. Like I was traveling everywhere on the weekend. It was pretty fun, and I loved the experience. So fast forward, I used that money to buy the flight ticket, and I flew to Switzerland in June at the time. And the program manager, she was pretty useful. She sent a lot of detailed instructions on like how to get to the hostel, how to like take a bus, like just step by step of like what to expect when you get to Geneva. So everything was fine. And let's talk about the hostel. So the hostel, like when you got selected, they do provide you with the hostel that you can lived at, and then they will provide you with like how much is it gonna cost, are you willing to share a room with someone else, or do you want a single room, like that type of thing. And then they give you the list, and it was pretty like cheap compared to compared to like the compensation that they're paying like each day. And for me, for the total, I believe, like I don't remember like every day like how much I paid, but in total, okay, I shared a room with the girl, and in total I paid around 1,500 for 2.5 months. So it was not that bad. Like, don't be scared, it was not that bad. They will provide you a hostel for you, and they will let you know how much you'll have to pay, and it's pretty cheap. And compared to if you just go there and rent a place, that's like so much cheaper. So just get the hotel that whatever they're providing. And for that as well too, they do provided 2 different hotels for the summer student and the open lab students. Since the open lab student is only 30 people, they do give you like a small hostel / a little apartment, and then you can live there, which is a little bit farther from CERN. And the summer student housing, it was close by, but it was like huge, it was big, it was like a dorm type of thing. And yeah, it was pretty nice. So just live at the hostel, whatever the hostel that they provided, like it will be good for you. And plus you get to hang out with like other summer students as well, since you guys will be living together. So yeah, I got to the hotel. I took a taxi at the time because I was scared to take a bus over there, because if I'm being honest, I did not know anyone there. I had no friends, no relatives, no one that I know over there. So I was like, you know what, it's fine, I'll rather take a taxi than just get lost on the bus. And plus I had my luggages on, so I took the taxi. It was fine. But for a few days I was sick, like for 2-3 days, and then jet lag and everything, but which is fine. But for the arrival, they have like a different date arrival for all the students. Oh, by the way, I got into an open lab summer students, so I was in the little selections. It was only 30 people, so we got some special treatment, but whatever, it's fine. And it was pretty nice. So I got to the hostel, it was pretty nice. I did share a room with the other girl, so they give you 3 different arrival date, the first week, second week, third week, and I got in on the second week. And a lot of people joined after on the third week as well, so I got on the second week. And I share a room with the other girl, and there's also so I live in a 2-bedrooms apartment, and I share a room with the other girl. And the other girl, like there's another girl, the girl number 2, she had a single room, which is like, it was nice, it was pretty nice. I worked on a Gaussian process reinforcement learning model predictive code. It was a machine learning model. It was a predictive model, and it was pretty nice. I will get into more techie stuff later, and if you want, you could go check on my GitHub as well. So it was the predictive model control. So at the time when I got there, I didn't know anyone, so of course your girl gotta try extra hard to be friends with like everyone from the same program, because I don't know, for me it's just the feeling of, like, let's say if I got into a car accident on the street, like, I got no one to call. Like, there's literally no one who gives a fuck about me. So I was a little scared and paranoid because, you know, just in case, you know, the emergency happened. Like, what if someone's, you know, what if I got hit, and then who the hell am I gonna call? So I was like, I make sure I became friends with like a lot of the summer students, and it was fun. I did end up making a lot of good friends from the programs, and it was really fun and nice. But I did also have some haters, but that's like later in the programs. What else? And also, so CERN has a two different location, I guess. Like, one is like a CERN big one in Geneva, and the other one is in Maryland, which is in a French size, and I worked in that French office. But fast forward, it was I did work. I did have to go to office like 9 to 5. I take bus every morning, and then on the weekend, like, we would just go visit everywhere. We would go to Italy, we would go to you know, where else, Netherlands. Like, we would just go everywhere, and it was really fun. And the whole work process, it was pretty chill because you know, you can also work on your own time. And since I was an intern, I was also learning a lot of things on my own. So like, it wasn't really like 9 to 5. Yes, I do go to work at 9 to 5, but then I was also learning on my time as well. So it was more, for me, it was more like a, you know, whole big project that you have to complete by at the end of my stay in Switzerland. So at the end of your stay, you will have to write a report, and you will have to give a presentation to the audience, like what you've worked on with like over the 3 months, and then what you accomplished, what you've learned so far, like everything. You have to write a report, and you'll have to do a presentation. I also did my presentation. So for whoever is interested in applying to the program, just go for it. Don't be scared. Like, worst thing that they could say is no. But if they say yes, then you get the opportunity to go to Switzerland in Europe, and then just roam around town in Europe, which is good, like really nice. And I really loved it, and I'm really, really, really thankful that my mentor suggested me to apply. And then I'm so grateful that I got in as well, because it's just a whole new different experience for me. So if you're scared, whatever, go for it. Apply for it. Just fucking apply. So let's talk about the application process again. You have 3 essays. You have 4 essays, I think. Check the application. You have essays that you need to write. You will have to submit your resume, cover letters, and you also have to submit 2 recommendation letters from whoever you know. So not whoever, sorry, from like your colleague or like professors, like, you know, those people. So you need 2 recommendation letters, FYI. So do not forget that. And another thing about the recommendation letter is, like, they don't take the recommendation letters from you. You will have to send a link to that person, and that person has to submit through that link, because, you know, they're scared that you will fake the cover letter. But honestly, I don't really know how they do it now, but that's how they did back in my time. But I'm pretty sure it's only been 2 years, so I'm pretty sure it's still the same. So make sure you know like a professor or colleagues that can write you a really good recommendation letters. Because for me, at least for me, I think I got it because, well, prior to that experience, I also worked at a Stanford lab for a while, and that's when I know my mentor. So I did have some good experience. In my essays, I did talk about Slack, because that's my, you know, only experience I had at that time, you know, working in a lab. So I did talk about Slack. I talked about my experience, and also I talked about I talked about my other experience, the hackathon that I did back then. And I also talked about the skills that I had, you know, like what type of project I love to work on. And the only one main advice I will give you is, one of the essays that I wrote, I did a research at CERN, the experiments and everything, and I know I'm not gonna get into that specific experiment. However, I did mention that in my essays, like letting them know that I'm very interested, letting them know that I know what I'm talking about, you know? Because you don't want to go up there and then you just like, oh yeah, I just want to work there. Like, they'll be like, why? I'll be like, oh, I don't know. Like, you need to know what's going on over there a little bit. So I did talk about the one of the experiment that they were working on at the time called AMS, alpha magnetic spectrometer, which I don't even know. Like, I didn't get into that project, but it's okay. But I talked about that project mainly because I want them to know that I know what I'm talking about. So do that if you can, and do your research, and yeah, just make sure that you know what you're talking about when you're submitting your applications. And one good thing about CERN is that nowadays everyone requires the interview just to get into anything, and like doing an interview is just such a pain in the. But the good thing about CERN is they don't require to do an interview, just because it's just a like 3 months programs, and you just have to write a lot, like the essays, a cover letter, and make sure you know what you're writing. Like, let's say you're someone, you want to work at CERN, you don't have any experience, like you have nothing, but you go to school and talk about that. Like, you have school experience, you have project experience, talk about that. Like, like a lot of people will be asking me like, oh, like I don't have any experience to write on, like I don't really know what to write, like I don't really know what to tell them. Well, you have the 3-year worth of school experience, talk about that. Like, I'm pretty sure you have some like experience working on a project, anything. Just make up a story, just put it in a nicer way, use the stars methods, or any methods that you want to use, like use that to like write about it, because at the end of the day, your storytellings matter. Because like for me personally, I'm a very not really, since I'm in a tech field, like I'm not very good at like expressing my feelings and all that, whatever. But learn how to tell a good stories, because that will get you far in life. But yeah, I don't really know what to talk about anymore. But if you want to know, like if you have like a specific question that you want me to go through, like comment down below, and I will go through the specific question that you have. But right now, I think I said all I want to say. And but if you're thinking of applying but you're scared because of your resume is not enough, because your essay is not enough, just fix it. You just try your best, and then just go for it. Shoot your shot. Like, it's okay. Like, just shoot your fucking shot. That's all I'm gonna say. Go for it. Apply for it. All you gotta do is apply. Okay? Good. So thank you so much for watching my video as usual, and I hope you enjoy it a little bit, because this is a little bit different from the videos that I want to do, but it's okay. Like, this this channel is all about me and my experience, so this is part of my experience that I love to talk about. And yeah, just let me know if you have any question. I'll make more videos about it, but for now, bye bye.